So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. Some major technical difficulties there, but we got them sorted for a finish. And it is another preseason friendly, or warm-up game, as I heard the guys in Claret and Blue call it, which probably is, well, the last game was probably a warm-up game, but I think this one will is more in the preseason friendly bracket, because Aston Villa have obviously travelled out to Spartak Trnava to play them today, and we have the team has been named, and we might as well start off with that, Paddy.
I'm not sure I'd call Wednesday a warm up. Some of those tackles that were going in were fairly saucy.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty mad at times. But let's take a little look at the team while we're here, because this is going to be a shorter team sheet tantrum today, because both myself and Paddy have to get somewhere and then try and get back to watch the game. But Joe Gauci is going to start in goals with Nedeljkovic, Diego Carlos, Finkels, and Digne playing in the back four. I think we're probably going to see a flat four in midfield as well, with Barnache and then Donker obviously in the middle, and Illing Jr. and Leon Bailey left and right hand side, with two up top in Lewis Dobbin, the mystery man, the man that we were all wondering where he was on Wednesday, is going to start probably up top with Louis Barry as well. So an interesting lineup. People we want to see in that lineup, obviously, for me, is going to be Barnechea, Illing Jr., Dobbin. I think for me are the three players I really want to see excel within that team. But Paddy, what do you make of it? Is it surprising that we haven't gone with maybe more, I suppose, senior names in that first 11 since we've travelled all the way out there for this game?
Not necessarily. Like it's going to be identical the other night. This is all about minutes in the legs, and it's 45 minutes each. They'll swap that completely at halftime. Maybe not 11, but definitely 9 by halftime to switch it up and give that bench a run out. But look, I think it's a question now of the brain trust finding out about the new players and what they're capable of, and what their capabilities are, and seeing where our normal players, or I should say, or our existing players, see where they are with their fitness. So that's all that these couple of games are about, and I think the business end starts when we start to play the likes of Dortmund and Bilbao and
Leipzig.
Leipzig, yeah. Is it Leipzig we play in America? Yeah,
I think it is. Yeah,
lost track. Yeah. So I would imagine this one and the game against the team, the name escapes me, the Chicago-based team, will probably be of similar ilk, and then we'll see a full strength team, or as full as possible, heading into the last few games before we take on West Ham.
Yeah, I think is a Columbus Crew as opposed to Chicago. I think it's based in Ohio. Is that we're playing as a Columbus Crew, or since I should really have brought these up, Aston Villa fixtures. As you can tell, it is. It's Columbus Crew that we play on the 28th of July.
We play somebody in Chicago. That's probably what's thrown me. So anyway.
Club America. So we play Columbus Crew, RB Leipzig, Club America, and then Bilbao and Dortmund. There are our remaining games after this, which are all a good test, of varying different levels of ability. I think they're obviously Columbus Crew were flying high within the MLS. RB Leipzig, we all know about them. In recent years, being a Champions League team. Club America from Mexico. Athletic Bilbao, obviously coming off winning a cup this year, and then Dortmund as well, Champions League finalists this year. So a good round of games for Villa in the preseason. But see a couple of people here mentioning they're still worried about JJ Buendia. I'm not so much worried about the two of them. JJ is a bit of a perplexing one for me, because it seems I suppose I want his injury wasn't as bad as the rest of the guys. Buendia, I can understand them not wanting to rush him, and potentially they want him for the season. They don't want him to be right for day one. So I'm not too worried about that. But JJ obviously is somebody that I think we'll see JJ obviously in the United States. I think he's probably closer than we think. But softly with this one. Also, the club probably needs to know what they have in these younger players as well over the course of the next few games, because everybody talks about excuse me, about the squad makeup for Champions League and the squad makeup for the Premier League as well. Obviously, under 21 players, homegrown players, home trained players, and I think there's a relatively strong argument to be made that the club wants to have a look at the likes of Louis Barry. The club wants to have a look at the likes of Jimo Aloba as well. They want to have a look at Caden Young in these games. They know what they have in JJ. Definitely know what they have in JJ. When Dia is a known entity as well from Unai's time with the club before. So I wonder, is that playing into the thought process here, that we don't rush them back? We will have them for the season, and and then the likes of the smaller guys, or the younger guys, should I say, then get their chance. But also a lot of 2 and 2s are being put together to make 4, 5, 6, and 7 here, with regards to Jacob Ramsey being linked to Spurs. And I would go so far as to say that link with Spurs, that it was a done deal for Lo Celso plus 15 or plus 19 million, is bogus. I think would probably be the best word I could think to put to it.
Just we've all got to remember that these are slow news days, and a paper never refuses ink. From my point of view, I would not be rushing, given the strength of what we have at our disposal. There's 22 players capable of swapping in and out, without playing players out of. Well, I haven't really studied the second half team, but without putting players out of position, we more than likely will be able to switch up the whole team there, as well as having players out. So there's absolutely no need to rush everybody back, even the Lewis Dobbin not being included on Wednesday, just to give him another few days to settle in. No panic whatsoever. I'm surprised now I'm not reading where's Philogene Bidet, even though he only signed yesterday. There's loads of time, guys. There's loads of time, and we've loads of cover for both Buendia and for JJ Ramsey. So let them get full fitness before we put them out heading into tackles, and try and ignore all the white noise, because that's what I think it is. I don't see JJ Ramsey going anywhere. Absolutely not. I'd be very surprised if that's one of the transfers we make, given the way we have to set up our squad, and he's one of our homegrown players. So let's all relax a little bit and just enjoy what's ahead of us this afternoon.
I think so, for sure. Yeah, look, I think, and yeah, we get on. I was going to say something else there, but there's probably a whole podcast on what I was just going to ask there. So we'll hold on to that for a later date. Look, I think
there's lots of stuff happening in the last 48 hours. So we'll get over today's game, and we'll come back when we're both free, and we'll dissect it, what happened this afternoon, and we'll go through what's happened in the last few days. And we know there's a kit launch coming. We know there's players coming in and that. So we'll leave that till maybe Monday, and we'll have a good chat about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Just we're going back to this team again here. Like there's like it's going to be really interesting, to see this, because we're playing against a pretty decent team. They finished third out of 12 in their league last season. But Paddy, the big piece I want to ask you about Spartak Trnava is, how many names have they had previously, dating back to 1923 when they were first incepted?
An awful lot.
8 other previous names is what they've had. And
what was the most recent one?
Spartak Trnava, the one that they have now. Well, no, I suppose. Give me a second there. No, I had them up. TJ Spartak ZTS Trnava, which they had between 1988 and 1993. There were TJ Spartak TAZ Trnava between 1967 and 88. There were TJ Spartak Trnava between 1962 and 67. There were DSO Spartak Trnava 1953 to 62. There were TJ Sokol Kavasmalt Trnava between 1949 and 1953. There were so-called NV Trnava between 1948 and 49. There were TSS Trnava between 1939 and 1948. And there were SK Rapid Trnava between 1923 and 1939. I think you could probably draw inference between war and potential post-war communism and stuff like that within that region, and geopolitical breakups as to how the name has changed and the different acronyms prior to and post Trnava there has changed over the course of those years. But they're now Spartak Trnava, and they've been this since 1993. So I just thought that was interesting to see all the different name changes they've had over the last 100 years that they've been they've been an actual team. I wanted to open up.
This is going to be a decent test as well. Don't be too hung up on the score line today either. We're playing a team that has decent pedigree, and they're playing in a close to 20,000 seater stadium. You don't have a 20,000 seater stadium if you're not attracting big crowds, and if you're attracting big crowds, it means you're a decent side. So this will be no walk in the park for us. It's all about, as I said, getting those minutes in the legs, 45 minutes each for all of those players, and coming out of it unscathed, and everybody be happy, and we get to learn a little bit more about the likes of Illing Jr. and Baron Achea, and everybody will be happy, and Lewis Dobbin, obviously, who we haven't seen yet.
There's a former Celtic and Bolton Wanderers player on the Spartak Trnava team, and it's Filip Tvarzik. I think his brother played in the League of Ireland for Bohs as well, if I'm not mistaken. But he's there. He's going to be playing today. He's on their squad list, should I say? Yeah, but I'm going to be really honest. I don't know a whole pile of the other players on their team. They have a couple of imports there as well. That was one guy from the Right to Dream Academy, Kelvin Ofori. I don't know. As I say, I couldn't tell you what way their team is going to set up, but just going to be an interesting game, I think, today. They're going to be dogged. They're going to be well versed as all teams from that part of Europe are, and we're going to need to go and break them down, and we're going to need to try and play some fluid football. And I think with the two teams going out in either half, if that is what happens in this game, and I expect it to be what happens in this game, because I also Aston Villa are playing Chasetown FC as well today. In Chasetown, I would imagine an Aston Villa 11 of sorts from whatever's left over from our under 14 team that hasn't travelled to this game today will probably be going out against Chasetown today. Or maybe we see Buendia. Maybe we see Jacob Ramsey. Maybe we see a couple of those guys against Chasetown today, because it is a big money spinner for Chasetown, and maybe Villa have done something like that to give them a solid. We don't know. So today is going to be an interesting one for Villa, and a stepping stone. As you said, the result doesn't matter. It's going to be two different 11s, I would imagine, in each 45, and I'm looking forward to seeing this one. Just to let everybody know as well, because in case I forget to say it at the end, we won't have a post-match podcast directly after this, because I have to be somewhere directly after this. So in case you guys are watching, we won't have one, but we might pop on later on in the afternoon, or this evening, or tonight, should I say, to chat all about it if you guys are still interested in it, if the game is anyway interesting. So keep an eye out for that one as well, but we won't have a post-match here. Paddy, are you expecting anything? Who do you want to see, I suppose, most on this starting 11? Because I said I wanted to see Barnechea, Illing Jr. and Dobbin, but who are you looking to see, I suppose, in this one?
Well, those were the three that I named as well. I want to see. I also want to see throughout this window of friendly fixtures, what have we got in reserve? What is Sil Swinkles going to give us? What is Bogard going to give us? The likes of Josh Feeney, Wright, Young, all of those guys. Is there anything in there that they could be included in as part of our squad heading into this season? Hopefully there is, because it'll save us a few bob if that's the situation. But I just like to see where they're at. The focus seems to have gone away from our underage teams. I know in recent years I used to watch an awful lot of the underage games. They haven't been very attractive to watch over the last season, let's say. So I didn't watch too many of them last season. So I'm just interested to see how the progression has come with those players. And I suppose the biggest one of the lot and the most exciting one to come out of the other night was Nedeljkovic from me. I'm hoping that we have really found a hidden gem, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he's capable of, because if I know it's only a League Two side that he played the other night, but if it's anything to go on, he will be an exciting watch.
Yeah, I agree. He's somebody obviously as well that we're looking at there. I think still Swinkles is somebody you're right to mention there as well. Came through a hard time last year. Villa stood by him, gave him that extra contract, and once again, as I say, Unai Emery and Monchi have this penchant for fully grown men. At a young age. When I say he's a young age, Swinkles could be 21 at this stage, but he came to Aston Villa with high pedigree. I think he had already made his professional debut when he was signed for Aston Villa and went into our youth team. So he was somebody that they thought highly of. And look, he's in there. He's got number 50 and he's back. He's playing alongside Diego Carlos today, and we see what way he goes in this game today as well. But yeah, like the game is on at 3:00. It's on Villa TV. If any of you guys have, I think I don't know if there's singular match passes now. I know there was a lot of people saying that wasn't the case for Walsall. But £24.99, £24.99, I think is what it is for the to buy the preseason package. Doesn't it actually buys you Villa TV for the year, doesn't it?
I think it does, yeah, and that's decent value. I find it really helpful for watching matches back. There's always going to be cases throughout the season. Even when I go to matches, I like to watch them back. We need to be supporting our club. This is. I feel that this is the least we could do for the club. I know it seems like an awful lot of money, but if you're paying for Sky Sports for those 6 games for a month, you're paying a lot more than £24.99. So you're getting those games. It's really not bad at all. So,
and the games are available at 12. Is it 12 midnight? From 12 midnight after the game is on, you can watch the full game back. 12 midday the following day, you can watch the full game back. You can watch just the 2-minute highlight reel, or you can watch like a 10-minute kind of best of the action. And we're not selling this. We've not been asked to sell this by Aston Villa or anything like that. We've always been big proponents of Villa TV for press conferences, for youth games, and things like that as well. So I think we do this every year, Paddy. We give a big spiel about how much we value Villa TV being.
There's many people in this in the chat and that listen to this podcast that will, like ourselves, never be able to afford one of those hospitality season tickets. So this is our little bit that we can do to look after the club and to put what is probably nearly 100% profit of that 25 quid back into the club, because it's mostly our own guys that are probably videoing this, or we buy for a nominal fee off the opposition. So it's well worth it. It's well worth paying for, and I find it very good for press conferences and stuff on a Friday. So
yeah,
and considering
if I remember rightly, last year, even if you bought the full package, you still had to pay for some individual games. There was some games that weren't included, if I remember, and they were like the big games. There were the bigger games that weren't included. I think we got the US tour, and then there was some games when we came home that you had to pay. Remember, I think it was $5.99 for them.
If you're in the chat there, you're listening to this, and you have a season ticket, this is free. This is included in your season ticket. Yeah. So just log into avfc.co.uk, click on Villa TV, and it's there. Yep. I'm also reliably informed, I haven't checked it, but I think if you have a Claret membership, it's also included. So rather than paying $24.99,
and I didn't pay for it this year, but then again, it could have renewed from last year.
It could have done, yeah. But if you there's an automatic renewal on it too if you didn't cancel it, so your money is gone. But I think if you're going to spend the money, buy the Claret membership, because obviously it gives you the option of buying home tickets as well. So it's all good.
It really does.
Anyway, that's our selling piece for. Pardon?
Even better, join your local Lions club, your local Aston Villa Lions club. Go find your Aston Villa Lions supporters club, join them, and be part of the network of. I would go so far as to say one of the largest genuine supporters clubs in the Premier League. I would say, because and I am being I'm being pretty real when I say genuine, because you've got a lot of Man United and a lot of Liverpool ones, and fellas join the supporters club just to say they're in the supporters club, and they've no, they're not really, if that makes sense, because there's they don't contribute in any way, shape, or form. But the Aston Villa Lions supporters clubs are really good, really great. And growing that membership is huge, and speaking to people within those clubs, it gives a sense of community as well. So if you are abroad, and I know this has turned into something completely different, but if you are abroad, Google, try and find your local supporters club. There's a lot of official ones. There's tons of them. Paddy may be able to tell you how many there are around the world. It's growing and growing almost every week. There was one initiated in China, I think, a couple of weeks ago, and they've got a ball of subscribers already. So it's yeah, we've had some great guys on here to chat about it before.
At last count, about 115 Lions clubs throughout the world, so there won't be one too far away from you.
Yeah, absolutely. And even in the UK as well, you'll find them anywhere within the UK. They're all over the place, yeah. And we've got the Munster, Ulster, Leinster and Connacht Lions here as well in Ireland, if there's anyone here in Ireland. So just give us a shout. We'll be able to point you in the direction of your nearest Lions club as well, because that's important. Because while they cost nothing, well, the majority of them, it doesn't cost anything for membership. It keeps you connected to the club and gives you some kind of a sense of being, especially if you might think you're the only Villa fan in the village. You're probably not. But anyway, yeah, as I said, that wasn't somewhere that I wanted to go at this podcast. But going back to the game, I think here, Paddy, it starts in 30 minutes time. I think it's an absolute belter of a day out there in Trnava at the moment. I think they're going through some sort of a heat wave. If I was reading up on it earlier on. So this one could be a bit of a slower paced game than it was on Wednesday. So it'll be interesting to see it. But I think we're going to leave it at that, Paddy. We're going to let everybody get in front of their TV, in front of their Villa TV or whatever way they're going to watch this game. And we won't be back immediately after this for a post-match podcast, but we will be back at some stage later on today. And as David O'Dwyer said, I think Spartak means their secret police team or something like that. Maybe.
The reason I highlighted that comment is I'm reliably informed that Spartak Moscow were the first Spartak, and it comes from Spartacus, and that's why you have a number of clubs propping up around that part of Europe with that name. And I'm open to be wrong on that, as I regularly am, but that's what I'm told that the name Spartak comes from.
Yeah, I've got nothing to debunk that at all. I don't have the energy either, because I'm coming down with something again. So as you guys can probably hear in my voice. But anyway, yeah, enjoy the game. We won't be back directly afterwards. We'll probably see you later on this evening. And depending on what way the match goes, we'll do a post-match podcast afterwards. Might be the two of us, might just be one of us, but we'll see you then. But
definitely won't be me.
It won't be Paddy. It won't be Paddy. Paddy's probably got some gig to go to tonight.
My father's 80th birthday to go
your father's 80th. You did. You said that. Your father's 80th birthday, of course. Yeah. That definitely is better than doing a podcast with me.
Absolutely.
That's for sure. Right. We're going to leave it at that, everybody. See you later. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Here's hoping Aston Villa get a good run out today and that there's no injuries. And all that's left to say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.